This video is packed with tons of Dollar Tree crafts you are going to love. Once again, headed to Dollar Tree on this beautiful Saturday morning. We are going to be working with some beautiful scarves today. I recently did a video with tons of scarves, and today I am bringing you even more inspiration. We're going to start with these flip-flops. I recently also did another video using flip-flops and created some beautiful DIY crafts. I can have those linked down below in the description box. But we are going to start with this butterfly scarf. We are going to fold it in half, and then we are going to cut it in half long ways. Now we have two long and thin pieces of scarf. We're going to wrap the straps of the flip-flops. We're going to give these flip-flops a higher end, more in hands, very chic look. We're going to put a little bit of dab of glue right where the toe strap goes. Then we're going to place the middle of the scarf right on it, wrap it around twice, crisscross it, and then we're going to wrap around these straps and we're going to hot glue at every turn. That way it's going to be secure, it's going to hold when it's walked on, and it's not going to go anywhere. So we're just going to wrap it all the way to the bottom. When we reach the bottom, I'm going to make sure that I hot glue it very neatly right as it's touching the actual flip-flop, and then once again after it is completely wrapped. That way the scarf will be hot glued to itself and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we have some leftover straps that are longer with the scarves. That part is just going to be wrapped around the ankle and tied in a cute bow. We're going to add a flower right to the front. That way it's going to add some girly touch, beautiful for summer. And I did the same thing on the other one, and look how pretty this looks. I love the freshness. It's such a clever way to use these scarves and flip-flops. For the next DIY craft, I'm going to take this beautiful blue and white scarf. We're going to fold it in half once again, and then we're going to make sure that the end and the sides are even as possible. We're creating a DIY tote bag. I'm going to take my ruler here and I'm going to measure 12 inches from the bottom side that is folded, and I'm going to cut some fabric tape. Now, looking back, I would recommend doing 10 inches and not 12 inches. I'm going to iron the sides just to make sure that they're nice and flat. And then I am going to place each strip of fabric glue in between the fabric. Then we're just going to iron it, and it's going to melt and it's going to join both, creating a very tight seam that you can even wash and it'll be okay. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Friends, I would love to connect with you on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, and I have those links down below in the description box. So make sure you go check it out when you're done watching. Alright, so we have the other side nicely attached and everything has cooled down and hardened. Now we're going to take the open side and we're just going to knot close to the bottom part where the adhesive has started. That way we are going to have a nice knot, and it's just going to give it a little bit of style. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, making sure that the knot aligns with the first knot. And then we're just going to knot everything together to create the actual loop where it can hang from. And you're just going to make a very simple knot right at the very top of the tote bag. Now we can place a book or whatever we want in it. It's nice and secure, and it's so pretty, very sheer, very lightweight. You can add anything you want, as long as it's, of course, not too heavy. But it actually worked with this pretty heavy book. Love it. For the next DIY craft, I'm going to take this beautiful lemon-themed scarf in two pots. These are terracotta pots that you can find at Dollar Tree. We're also going to get some Mod Podge and a small brush. We're going to cut a piece of the scarf because we are going to wrap around each pot with the scarf. Now make sure you do the side that it's brighter. These scarves, even though they're nicely designed on both sides, one side is a little bit more dull than the other. So just make sure you get the brighter one to face the front. I'm going to add some Mod Podge, and then I'm just going to start wrapping around the scarf right onto the terracotta pots. making sure that I am straightening out, pulling, and flattening out any bubbles that I may see. Friends, I would love to invite you to stay till the end of the video. If you want to watch how I decorated my front porch for summer, I invite you to do so. It's a very small clip, but if you want to watch it, it is going to be at the end of this video. All right, so the first one is going to be completely done here in just a minute. We're just going to finish adding the Mod Podge. We're going to cut off the excess fabric. I'm not concerned about having a little bit of fray on the top and the bottom. It's okay. We're going to cover the top up. So then we're just going to add more Mod Podge to the top of the fabric. So that way it's going to seal everything and create a very tight, strong bond. And then I did the same thing with the little tiny one. I placed it in front of a fan, and let me tell you, it didn't take but maybe 30 minutes to dry. Now, they are a little rough to the touch, so I'm just going to take a 120 grit sandpaper, and we're just going to sand it down. Actually, it's a 220 grit. Just very, very lightly, and that way it's going to smooth it out just a little bit. We're just going to take this burlap ribbon that has a very frayed edges. We're going to cut off a piece. It's maybe about an inch thick. We're going to remove some of the frays on the opposite side of the frays. That way we have frays on both ends. How many times am I going to say frays? All right, we're going to hot glue it to the top rim, making sure that the frays are overlapping the edge of the terracotta pot. And then we're just going to add some hot glue at the end, and that way it's going to be nice and secure. For the little one, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut it just a little bit thinner, remove some of the strands once again so that we have frays on top and the bottom, and hot glue it in place, making sure that the frays overlap the top of the pot. All right, we're going to add some floor foam that I already had on hand. These are just some leftover pieces. And then we're going to cover the foam using some moss from Dollar Tree and some hot glue. And then we're just going to add some greenery and flowers just to add a nice touch of summer. Currently at Dollar Tree, you can find these little tiny bugs. They have bees and little tiny ladybugs, and they're just so cute. I'm just going to hot glue one to each pot. That way it's just going to add a little bit of color, character, just a fun little thing to add. And look how cute these look. Now imagine you can use as many of these pots as you want, maybe larger ones, and any scarf for any design. For the next DIY craft, we're going to take this groovy style scarf and a piece of just craft paper. Anything you have on hand is fine. This has a cardboard kind of thickness to it, or stock paper, I should say. We're just going to cut a piece that's 2 inches by 8 inches, and then another one that's about 5 inches by 2 inches. We're going to take some Mod Podge and add it to the opposite side of the color piece. That way, it's going to be bookmarks that are going to be two-sided. We're going to place this scarf and just make sure that it's nice and flat and no bubbles. Then we're going to do the same one with the little one. Just add liberally amount of Mod Podge and place the scarf right on top. Again, we're just going to place this in a fan, and that way it's going to speed up the process, but you don't have to. It'll dry up eventually. I'm going to use this crinkle style scissors. I'm just going to cut off the excess fabric from the sides. Now, I attempted to cut it with these scissors before I cut the excess, and it just didn't work as good. So just make sure you cut off the excess fabric before you use the crinkle scissors. And of course, this is optional. If you don't have these scissors, you can just use your regular scissors. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. I'm going to use my crocodile to poke a hole on the top of each bookmark. And I have this as well as many other of my favorite Amazon items in my Amazon store, which is always linked down below in the description box. So check it out when you're done watching. All right, we're just going to add one more layer on top of the scarf fabric of Mod Podge. This is, again, just going to seal everything in and then let it dry. Look how pretty they look, and they are both sided. I love it. All right, so now we're going to take a ribbon. This is just one I had on hand. I wish I had a different color one, but this is the best one I had. So use whatever you have. I'm going to cut it in half, and then one of those half, I'm going to cut it in half again. And then I'm just going to thread the loop side right through the hole, and then thread the open sides right through it, and then just tighten it up and then cutting off the excess, making sure they're nice and even. For the next one, because it's a little longer, we're just going to thread it through one side, tie it in the knot, and then just cut off the excess. That way it's going to look nice and pretty and even to its size. I love creating bookmarks. I think these are great for teachers, for kids, for friends, for anybody you want to gift to them. I think they're just so special. I love this one. They're two-sided and it's so much fun. What a great gift idea. And don't forget that I am going to show you here just a little bit how I decorated my porch for summer. Before I show you how I decorated, I want to show you what it looked like before. It was in such bad shape. We had a really bad winter and everything was just dirty. The concrete needed to be power washed. The entire house needed to be power washed. So we hired somebody to come by, spray it, wash it, and this turned out amazing, friends. I can't believe it. We waited this long. I just love the way it turned out. So I'm just going to show you, let you watch the before and after, and then show you how I decorated it for summer. So here's a clip of the before, and then of course I'm going to show you some afters. The difference is amazing. And yes, we could have done this ourselves, but because it'd been so long and it was in such a bad shape, we really wanted to make sure that we had a professional do it with professional equipment. But going forward, we can now use our own equipment and just maintain it. Look at the concrete. The difference is crazy amazing. I love the end result, and I just love the way it looks. As soon as he was done with it, I just couldn't wait to decorate it. So let me show you what I did out on the front porch. All right, so here is the front porch. I love the way it's turned out. Look how bright and airy. Everything looks nice and clean. I added several plants. I always love adding the ferns, and there are several things that I added that I'm going to tell you exactly where I got them in case you want to get them yourselves. So let me start. The ferns are from the hardware store. I just go to Lowe's and get them. They have different sizes, and I always get the largest ones. We have a very tall porch area, so adding the larger ferns really does well. These plants are full, and the planters, they came from Amazon, and they are on my Amazon store. The spring sign is just one that I have now for spring, but I'll change it for summer. The bottom pots are from Lowe's as well. I just recently got this rocking chair because I've been wanting a rocking chair for my porch, and I got it at Lowe's as well. And then the rug, I honestly don't remember. I think it was a Hobby Lobby, and then the stripe portion at Amazon. But I love the way this turned out. It is so airy. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know what you think of the crafts. Which one is your favorite? And I have another video here for you to watch. Make sure you click on it. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.